My name is Zoe Boone. I live in New Brunswick, and during the war I was in the Fleet Air Arm, and I was stationed at Edmonton, quite close to the Forestry Corps camps. And once a month, if I recall, we would be invited to go to the dances. And a notice was put up on our notice board in the dining area, and we had to run. We always knew the day it was going to be posted, and we had to run to get our names on the list. And you always put your chum's name on the list. And when the dance night came, we went, as far as I can recall, we went to number 15 and number 13 companies. And other than that, I'm not sure. But they'd send a lorry for us. There would be about 20 or 25 of us invited. And they'd send a lorry for us, and we'd pile in the back of it, and down we'd go to the camp. And there was nice music. Don't ask me how many were in the band, because I don't recall. But there was lovely music and a nice atmosphere, and lots of men to dance with. So we had a good time, and I really don't remember if we were served any refreshments, but I'm sure we were. But they were very nice to invite us. I don't ever recall inviting them back. I don't ever recall us having a dance area on camp, because they just didn't have it. I don't think there was room. But we really enjoyed. This was the highlight of our social life. There wasn't much social life at Edmonton, because it's remote and it's very quiet, and other than going down to the village and going to the canteen there, where the local ladies provided us with snacks and sandwiches and games to play, table tennis, and which was very exciting, but we had to walk down. And in my memory, it seems like it must have been a better part of 2 miles. Perhaps not, but this is what I believe. And it was no walk to us, because we were going out to be social and enjoy ourselves. We all got all gussied up to go, and we really enjoyed it. But you make the most of where you are, even though it was quiet. We had lots of company and lots of people around. You never noticed it.
What can you tell me about your experiences at the Forestry Corps dances, and in terms of, like, it was quite a distance to go. I mean, now
yes.
you said, oh, we drove in the truck or in the lorry, but that would have been a good, even today, at least 45 minutes in a modern vehicle. So it must have taken some time to get there.
Well, you can imagine we were all chattering and being busy, that I don't, you're asking me to go back a long way. And my memory isn't good from yesterday, so what do you think it's like from there?
But you get into the lorry, and it was an army lorry.
Yes, and there were farms in the back, opposite each other, and we drove there. Now they sent them, which meant they had to make a trip to get us and a trip to bring us home,
and a trip back too.
That's right.
So it was the Canadian.
The Canadians provided the transportation and the entertainment and the music and the men to dance with. So we were all right.
Do you recall hearing of any romances?
Not really. No, not within the camp. Oh yes, there may have been. I know of one, but I don't know what happened. I don't know how it ended.
And can you recall anything specific about the surroundings of that particular camp, say 13 or 15 company being at Lovett Camp and 13 being at the Muir of Ord? Is there anything that you recall about the actual surroundings? The building itself?
They were like all the other buildings on an army base. They were long, and I think they were made of wood. They were made of wood, the ones there. And, I think ours were made of wood that we stayed in. So, but I never ever thought of that before. They had to be. If it wasn't, we never were in a Nissen hut. but these were made of wood, I'm sure.
Was there any? Did you feel welcomed by the Canadians? Were they happy to see a bunch of ladies?
Oh, they loved to see the girls come, and the girls loved to come. And there was a lot of dancing, and I don't recall how big a band it was or anything. I just know that it was. I don't know at Muirvord if it was a band, but I'm sure it must have been.
This was common at that time for traveling bands to go visit the troops. Did you have any experience with that even anywhere else?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Anywhere I was, there was never too much entertainment. I was at Machrihanish, and that was a remote place too. And
in Edmonton as well, it was remote and there wasn't much?
No, there was not much in the way of entertainment. We went into Inverness at the weekend, and that was our entertainment. We went on the train and went into Inverness and came back. And the trains were run at our convenience to take us to and fro. You know, well, I don't say at our convenience, but they were run for us.
So they actually had a scheduled time to your travel plan?
Not especially our travel. It was general public travel that we used, but it was done at convenient times for us to go into town and to come home before it was too late.
Just generally excellent transportation.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Or we adapted to it.
Surprising considering the state of transportation today. It was probably better then.
Well, there were more people traveling.
Mm-hmm. So, any particular incident stand out to you? And when you went to on one of your Canadian Forestry Corps dances, you've said in the past that you'd have a few dances and then go to the kitchen.
That's right. The young man that I chummed at the time, don't think he liked to dance very much, so we'd have a few dances, and then he worked at the kitchen, and we went over to the kitchen, and I'd always get something tasty to eat there. And that's always what we were looking for, something tasty.
And so you'd get to meet the other people there, because there would be other people in the kitchen, right?
Yes, I suppose there would. I don't recall in detail what it was.
So at the end of the night, you'd pack your things up, and you'd be in uniform, correct?
Yes, we'd be in uniform.
Everybody in uniform?
Yes.
And drinks? There were drinks?
No, I don't think
No
so.
alcohol?
No, I don't think so.
And you'd pack your things up, and the lorry would bring you back around what time?
Well, we had to be in by midnight. Oh yeah, possibly about 11:30. I'm not just. My recall is not total. It's very vague.
But you had to be home before 12, so you got in before 12.
That's right. And they drove us back. And I had a young man that he'd accompany me back. You know, it's strange, he was the only one. And he put my duffel coat on to camouflage himself.
What, he pretended he was a woman?
Well, he wasn't a very big man, so...
So that he could continue on the drive and come back then?
He came back, and then he came back with them.
So, in general, it sounds like the Canadian Forestry Corps parties were probably the few
Well, they were the highlight. We looked forward to them, and it was the highlight of a week or a month. I think it was once a month. I'm not just certain. But
and the men enjoyed having the visitors?
Oh, they loved it. They just loved it. Of course, we loved it too.
It's in a sense you were both isolated. You were isolated up in Edmonton, and
they were.
And they were isolated in the Muirvord or at the forestry.
But we had access to the towns and the villages, so I mean, I wouldn't say isolated, but it was a lonely place.
These are small villages too. It's not.
That's right.
It's not. You couldn't go into Inverness every day if you wanted.
Once a week, we used to go in and have a meal,
And Inverness is still not a big city either.
No, it's and we go to the Caledonian Hotel sometimes. That was our treat. On payday, we'd go to the Caledonian Hotel and have a meal. And funnily enough, at Campbellton, they had a Caledonia Hotel too.
In Campbellton, New Brunswick, Canada.
No, Scotland. Argyll, Scotland.
In Campbellton, Argyll, Scotland, they had a Caledonian Hotel too. Thank you very much.